I'm Jayson Waller with the True Underdog podcast. That's a top 3 podcast with Apple Entrepreneur and Motivational. And I've got a treat today. I've got a bad motherfucker here on the show. This guy is the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings. He is the R-rated sports announcer, and he's got a brand new podcast out that I want to ask about that's kicking some ass. Mr. Bob Menery, how you doing, baby?
Time out.
Oh, shit. What happened?
Former voice of Buffalo Wild Wings, Jay.
Former. My bad.
Unfortunately, the world was turning in a different direction. We did everything we could for them for 3 years, above and beyond. And at the end of the day, we are no longer with Buffalo Wild Wings, but it was a good run. 26 sauces and seasonings was my go-to line. But at the end of the day, we are looking at Hooters as a next potential partner. So
I should have said former, but that's fine. It's
all right.
So listen, I saw some of your shows. I saw the one you did with Jordan Belfort where you kind of explained how you got started and, you know, you were struggling. You went out to do some things, came back home, and some shit hit the fan, right? My show's really about people overcoming adversity. Nothing's handed to them. They're busting ass. They're not making excuses. They're not pointing the finger, but they grind and they find ways to make it happen so you can inspire and motivate other people out there. So let's talk about some of those struggles before we talk about your success. What was that like? Some of the things you're going through, the hardship you had when you came back home.
28 years old, minus $700 in my bank account, sleeping in a car with a flat tire after going rock bottom completely. My buddy finds me in the car and says, "Bob, you need to go home. You've been out here trying to be an actor, comedian for 4 years, and it's not working out. As a matter of fact, it's scary right now." I was on drugs. I was on, I'm trying to whisper, but as I just realized this is going to be aired. So, I was on drugs and I was doing, cocaine and all that stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, and was in a really bad place. And luckily, Ernie Giapapis, my buddy, found me in the car and was like, "You're going home at 28 years old. It's just the right thing to do. I don't care what you want to be or who you want to do or what you want to accomplish. You're going home." Puts me on a plane. And it's a lot deeper story. I was hallucinating in the back of the car on the third night for being up for 3 days in a row, and was thinking people were chasing me. And that's why it was a good point that, to find me in that car, because I don't know what my life would have been without that moment.
Right. And so you get back home and you have to face your family, right?
The best, though. They're the best. I mean, my mother is the best. My father is the best. And they were like, "Hey, they were just like, my dad's like, you just got to get a job. Like, no big deal." And my mom's like, "Oh, la, 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 like, all right, you're good. Life's good." I'm like, "Nah, Ma, not really. Life's not good, but all right." So, I came home and, quick backtrack a little bit. I went out to LA to be an actor, comedian for 4 years and just had no success. I knew I had something. I had a great voice. And what I'm most known for is doing kind of R-rated spoof comedy sticks on Instagram, where, if you're watching a play-by-play on TV that's called by Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, you're going to get the PG version. If you come over to my side of my fake sports network that should be generating a lot more revenue than it is right now, I'd be calling it in the way that you want to see it on TV, in an R-rated kind of way. So basically, I had a really rough run, and I was able to kind of get back to building what I was building.
Yeah, I remember hearing one of your first skits, and it was about a punter basically laying somebody out in the way you did it, and they've got like a quarter dick or whatever, but the quarter button dick, however you worded it.
It's a go-to joke. It's an ongoing go-to joke. His dick fell off, obviously, all that stuff with the voice. When you turn the voice on, you can make anything seem believable, and that's why I think that I've kind of conned my way into so many friendships with just a smooth-sounding voice. I don't think they actually like me at the end of the day.
I love it. So then what happens? I know. So you're struggling, you're back home. Your parents are very supportive. Then what happened?
So basically, I came home and my brother-in-law picks me up and he says, you got to get a job. So I'm going to bring you to Leary's Liquor Store. So I went to Leary's Liquor Store. I filled out an application. And it was actually so funny. I went out to LA to do all this stuff and had no success. And then I was just back for like a week in Boston, and when my life changed. And got dropped off at the liquor store, filled out the application for $11 an hour, and handed it in. That night, I went to my buddy's house who was doing a music video. He said, "You want to be an extra in the music video?" I said, "Yeah, sure, fuck it, let's go." You saw like my little quick face in it real quick. I was playing the party animal, by the way.
Yeah.
I just fit the role so perfectly.
Right.
And basically, after the shoot was done, and it's why I never knock anybody for any position they're in their life, rock bottom or wherever you are, at 2:45 in the morning while I was having a little bit of fun, my life changed. And, I got recorded in a video, which happened so many times in the past because I used to go up to random people out in public and do my broadcaster voice all the time to just see the reactions. But I was too afraid to go do a stand-up show or an audition or whatever. I had real fear inside of me, and I couldn't do it. So I just kind of like used alcohol and that to kind of like hide, how I was feeling, during whatever I was doing. But anyways, at the end of the day,
it gave you courage, right? It gave you, beer muscles, but it gave you the confidence to get up there because it wasn't. I get it. A lot of people have that.
Yeah. 100%. And like, not saying like I still drink and like, I have a couple of drinks. It makes me feel more comfortable, like blah, blah, but I'm like a work hard, play hard kind of guy. But to go back to your point, I go to this music video and at 3 a.m, somebody whips out their phone and I do like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the shotgun. It is ESPN here tonight. Bob Menery joining us by my color commentator, doing all that shtick that I always did. Right.
Yeah.
And then fucking just somebody recorded at the right time and kind of went everywhere on the internet fast, and then the journey began.
And everything went viral. You started getting calls like crazy. Started making more videos.
I just kept going. I was like, wow, this is working quick. I see a quick jump in traction. And I didn't understand social media at the time. I didn't have any fucking Instagram, Facebook, any of that stuff. And just kind of saw like I was growing at one point 35, 40,000 followers a day. That's how much my product, I was like, wow, I'm actually doing something that people want to see. And that's kind of an uncensored sports network. And it actually plays onto what's going on today now. And I think about why. It's just like everybody's being censored, everybody's being canceled. It's like, hey, even though we're not a real network, we need a lot of infrastructure, which I'll talk to you later about. We have a product that's very fun and just relaxed. And I was able to kind of make it a character so I don't get blamed for too much shit, hopefully. Because if I ever get canceled or anything, like, what are you talking about? Canceled? That was Peter, my color commentator. It's not. So I have this whole fucked up thing in my head, but yeah.
I love it. I love it that you're real, that you're funny, and that you push the envelope a little bit, and it's entertaining. I think I admire the fact that you want to create this network or this channel, this series of just sports being the way it should be told, like an R-rated show. I think it's needed. I think people need to laugh more and have a good time and be real.
You think people need to laugh more right now? I mean, dude, literally, it's the scariest time in the world right now, which people don't even aware. I don't get into politics much, but I've been very vocal lately on certain topics, and I'm just praying because we just lost. I don't know when the show airs or whatnot, but we just lost 12 American soldiers in a suicide attack in Afghanistan, and what's going on over there is just fucking, I can't even, I told these guys, like, I come across a lot of people in my life, and a lot of those people being people in the special armed forces and people that are, politics. I just met so many people, and I don't pick really situations a lot to be vocal about, but this is one that really just hits home because I've got to know I'm not a soldier. I've never been into battle. I've never done any of that shit. I don't have the balls to do it. I'll be the first one. That's why they're heroes. I don't have the balls to fucking go in the service. I don't.
But they're the ones that gave us those rights, and that's why you appreciate them.
And absolutely. And that's why when you're sitting there in a bad situation, your fucking bagel didn't get made right, or you have fucking the wrong coffee order, or you have anything like that, put the world in perspective and understand what people are really going on right now. And like Afghanistan right now is a serious situation. It's getting worse, and praying that, like, honestly, our nation's leaders work, not even that, like, everybody bands together as one, because this is a dangerous time. There could be some really serious long-term consequences that come out of this. And I'm just praying that, because I can't do anything about it. The only thing I can do is continue to be a good person and, voice my concerns in appropriate areas and whatnot. But this is a scary time. So hopefully we respond to these fucking guys that are doing some bad fucking things. And
well, I don't like us, being scared and letting them control everything either. I'm not a fan of that. So I think a little disappointed how we're handling it as well.
It is what it is, though. We're in the mess room. So I look at anything as like, all right, yesterday happened, right? So like, I don't care what happened yesterday. What do we do today? Right. Yeah. So what do we do today? And, we could have picked them off. They all came in convoys, and, there's different ways we could have went about, I think, this. And like I said, I'm just kind of relaying the message to other people that I trust, their opinions and whatnot, relaying that information, after, looking from every which way, that we're in the situation right now where it's getting bad. We just lost 12 American soldiers, and the number's not even done yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's not good. I saw, you're a good guy because I saw what you were doing during COVID. I followed you on Instagram, and I was like, this is pretty cool. You were bringing people live on and getting them money when they were doing things and showing them around the house. Talk about that a little bit, because I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
I tell you, I get bashed too. And I'm like, people are like, oh yeah, Bob, you always joke around about the masks and not wearing masks and everything. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Remember who the guy was for 1 month when this all happened, to keep every single member of their person in their homes and do a game show where I was giving away my own money to make sure that people stay in their homes and didn't spread this disease? What I did was I just went everywhere. I saw everyone. I'm entitled to my opinion, and I feel that like this thing is obviously a real thing. People are dying from it, but at the end of the day, I just see the main priority being what's going on in Afghanistan. And,
I agree.
I think there's a lot of different issues going on in the world right now. I mean, I think we're worrying about masks right now and all that, which is fine, do you? But at the end of the day, there's a lot of problems going on elsewhere that we need our full attention on, like immediately.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So you got a new podcast out, but before that, you were part of another show.
I've had 14 shows now, Jay.
Holy shit. 14, huh?
I think about 14. Number 14. No, I actually had two other ones I zapped, and which is a terminology. If nobody's heard zapped, it's just being partying wild. That's kind of the atmosphere I like to have in my room, I guess you could say, when I'm doing a podcast. But we have the newest one, which right now is the Full Send podcast, which I had started a couple other ones. We had Rip Magoo's. We had, however you want to look at it. We had really good success. We had, I guess, number one show in the world of sports is what they tell us for alongside. And that was just me with a cell phone. And I said, what
made you stop Ripper Magoo's? What happened?
I had a little, arguing with my partner, Kevin Conley, who was on Entourage. We've since made up. He's, figured it out. It's like when we had a good show that was going good, and then it's always like figuring out like, hey, who has what? What's because what? Well, I want this. Well, I signed this. Well, blah, blah. So like at the end of the day, I was just like, we just parted ways. He's, I have nothing bad to say about Kevin. Kevin's a great fucking dude. He works really hard. He's got the Expert Media. He's got a startup kind of podcast place that he's doing, and so nothing, no, I don't really hold grudges in any way, shape, or form. And I think that he doesn't either. We were both just like involved in the creative process. We both wanted everything perfect on each end. Yeah, I mean, the new one is huge. I mean, we just had Dana White episode 1. We had Tory Lanez episode 2, which we smoked a little bit of weed, got too high for. And
by the way, I saw parts of both of those. Fucking amazing. Great shows.
Thank you so much.
I'm a huge Dana White fan too. So to have him on there and talk about Trump almost coming out and all that, I thought was pretty good.
Dana's been a dear friend. I think what's so amazing about Dana is Dana was so aggressive during COVID. COVID-19 hit, and what Dana said, well, all the other leagues, the MLB, the NBA, the NHL, or whatever, blah, blah, they were all shutting down and playing very, very hyper, conservative. Dana was very aggressive and said, you know what? This is my opinion. Fuck you. I'm going with it. And this is how I feel. And he's look at the UFC and where they're at right now. I mean, he's played it perfect, and we're all still here. So.
Yeah, agreed. So I thought I saw highlights of Shaq being on the show.
Shaq was just on the show. Yes, Shaq was just on the show. And before that, we had Donald Trump Jr., who we took a lot of shit for, and Robert O'Neill, the man who killed Osama bin Laden, obviously had that episode kind of spur of the moment, texted Don and texted Robert and said, hey, anyway, we can both get down to Jupiter, Florida and do this. Pretty interesting times, and
Don's a good guy. I've met Don before. I've done a roundtable with ex-President Trump. So, I've met those guys living in North Carolina, Mooresville. I live in one of their neighborhoods where the other brother ran the neighborhood, Eric, for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
So
I don't know Eric Sarkov. I don't know Eric personally. All I know is this: Don Jr. From what I mean, you can have any opinion of him you want that you see on the internet or you see anywhere. All I look at is this. Trust me, I'll razz him for things that I see. Like I'll tell you. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, is it really time right now in this country to be, poking in a childish way at Hunter Biden and all this stuff? Like, no, like you can still dig, but let's do it. And like, there's some shit going on. Everybody, both sides, like fucking relax. Both sides, fucking relax. Stop playing children games and fucking you figure this out together somehow, because it's an absolute mess. So that's my thing, is like just trying to figure a way to like, hey, because so much reckless energy can be expensed on trying to point the finger. Okay, where are we right now? Let's figure it out. Let's work together. Okay, I understand there's a long, you got to be campaigning at this point for the next election and whatnot, but this is a time where it's very serious what's going on. So everybody needs to unite as one and figure this fucking shit out. And I don't know how to do it. And I'm just praying that our nation's leaders can fucking do it, because it's a mess over there right now.
You and me both need to pray for that. So football's about to kick off. You're a big football fan. Who's your team?
I'm a diehard New England Patriots fan.
Do you love Tom Brady that he left? Are you mad at him? What's the deal?
Tom Brady, I understand it was probably a business decision. It's whatever he wanted to do. He has earned his stars and his stripes. He can go wherever the fuck he wants. He won fucking 7 Super Bowls or whatever. Yeah, 7 Super Bowls, I think it was. Or excuse me, 6, I think. 6 Super Bowls he won with New England. That man is good to go. And that's why he's playing. I don't know when this episode airs, but he is playing week 3, I believe, Tampa Bay against New England, and that crowd will be going bonkers for Tom Brady because we respect what he has done for our fucking team.
Who wins that game, though?
No, I mean, obviously Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's gonna be like a 10-point favorite. Are you a gambler?
Yeah, I am. I am a gambler, and I will tell you this: that I'm a diehard Detroit Lions fan, so you can apologize to me. It's tough,
yeah, but right now.
But we had Patricia. We tried the Patriot way. It didn't fucking work for us. Okay, Mr. Pencil guy could not pull off anything at our place.
Well, you moved him into a very, very, very important role very quickly.
So, what's in the future for you with the Full Send? What are your goals here on this podcast? Where are you trying to take yourself, your brand, and what's going on to the next level?
Well, just for the podcast, we can we'll probably have the Full Send podcast, and then when we because we need a little bit of infrastructure. I was kind of running around like I'm very good at certain things, and I lack in certain areas. And at some point or another, when you're having a good run and you have all this stuff, and you don't really know what to do with it. Sometimes you got to latch on to other people and give a little bit of yourself away, give a little bit of away, so you can hopefully scale up and quicker. So that's what I kind of do with this podcast space. I was doing my podcast. The first 2 were great, but it didn't feel right. And so I needed to go to a well-oiled machine to be able to help just make me more of a talent, but yet I still have ownership, which is the most important thing in the show. But I'm fine with taking the role of I went to Kyle started the Full Send brand, and the Nelk Boys, who started off as these pranksters and now have the biggest fucking seltzer on planet Earth that's about to explode beyond fucking you don't even understand. I mean, serious people behind this thing that believe in it, and they already have the biggest social media push on mankind. They run the internet, the Nelk Boys, Happy Dad Seltzer. It's unbelievable. And we went to them and I said, Kyle, look, I helped them out. I kind of helped merge them with the UFC and introduced them to Dana and brought them together, and just kind of was like, Kyle and I always had that kind of handshake deal. Oh, we cut out, but we're still there. Me and Kyle always had that handshake deal about, we got to do those backs always. And he was like, the podcast space. And so we jumped in together and formed it, and it's going really fucking good. The numbers are fucking crazy. So it's good.
I love podcasts because it's a way to be real, get content out there. You don't have to structure a whole film crew to make a TV show. It's not just social media. People can listen to it when they're driving. People can follow it on YouTube or Twitch. And, I was just mentioning to you before we started about Clinton Sparks, who I just became really good friends with. We were laughing, it's oh, we best friends, brother B. But we're from different worlds, similar but different worlds. I grew up in a trailer park. I didn't finish high school. I didn't go to college, but I built 3 big businesses, this one being $1 billion company. He's been in the music space, and he invests in esports like nobody's business. He's got this whole league going on, and he's building a brand, and he's real big into hip hop, and he's all about pop culture and trying to marry those two together. And, he grew up poor and a white kid trying to be a black kid back in the hood, liking hip hop, kind of like I grew up, probably like how you grew up. We all kind of grew up in that era. That's what's cool. And I can relate to him. And so it's great. And when you mention something right now that you got to have some humility, and you got to be humble to bring people around you, and building a business, there's things I'm great at, Bob, and there's things I suck at. True story. I didn't know what EBITDA meant 3 years ago. I didn't fucking know what it meant, but I've been running companies.
So can you please let me in?
It's basically profit after taxes, right? So it's equity, interest, deferred, blah, blah. I don't even know what the fucking DNA means. But
I rely on smart people to handle that for us, but I don't know what it means until I now know what it means. So
there you go. So, but when I was building a business, and it was my 3rd company, we were doing 40 million in sales, I had to raise capital. Well, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And my business partner's my ride or die marketing guy, right? I'm loyal. This is my dude, but I'm running the show. He just helps with marketing. So I had to bring somebody on that experience, 65 years old, ran $1 billion companies, bring him on to make us more corporate. I did that. I have the humility to say, look, I don't need to be great at everything. I need to be great at 1 or 2 things. And then I bring people around me. Life and business are like a puzzle. You bring people around you to elevate you, and you elevate them to be better as a team. The Avengers, and I love Superman, are stronger than one superhero because you have a group of them, like Superman versus the Avengers. That would be hard for him because there's 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of them. So I'm always adding people around me to make me better. And you mentioned that. And I think listeners and viewers and people thinking about opening a business, or people thinking about taking a leap to try a job, or people listen to your show that get inspired and laugh, and you make their day a little better for that part. They understand that you got to have some humility and bring people around you to make you smarter, bigger, better, and grow. You agree?
I actually have an interesting point. Yes, everything you just hit on 100%, 1000%. What I try and do, because I always look at baby steps. Everybody can say everything like, how can I put myself in a position to move forward? What I try and always do, and what's been helpful to me, and which has gained why I have some of the, I have great relationships with a lot of fucking people. And I think the reason why I do that is no matter the situation or the place I'm in, I always try and be the host. I don't care if somebody's hosting me at an event or anything like that. I'm not going to walk in. I always try and be the host of any situation I'm in. And that's something I've always lived and died by. It's that in my head is like, Bob, just host the situation, and be gracious and be, even if somebody's a douchebag and you walk, it happens all the time. I go to a golf course, some guy rolls up and he's like, "Yeah, what's going on, Bob?" It's like, he's a fucking, I'm like, this guy's a fucking douchebag. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm always just trying to be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to host this guy and just actually be welcoming and just see if, because immediately my body's like, douchebag, don't want to react to him. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. That moment happens. And I'm like, I want to see what this guy's got really inside of him. And I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my fucked up brain, but that's just how it is.
So I have a CEO coach because this David Meltzer, I don't know if you know him, but he's the original Jerry.
Great guy. Another guy that I've been trying to get with for so long.
Oh, dude, I'm going to send you, dude. He's like one of my best friends and my coach. He has shown me how to live in more gratitude, be more empathetic.
David's a great guy, stand-up guy. We've been talking for a while and we just haven't figured out how to get in the same room at the same time. But I look forward to sitting with David because he's a very intelligent, very smart.
He's at the Win now doing his podcast all the time. He just signed with those guys over at the Win to do a show. So he'll be there. He'll be there in Vegas a lot.
I'm sure there will be a talk with him.
But one of the things that I leaned on him for, in knowledge and learning how to do things is how to show humility and how to. One rule that he has that I live by now is 5 minutes. It's 5 and 20. He'll give anybody a 5-minute call or 20-minute sit down because you never know what you're going to get out of it. And what you just mentioned, the guy might be a douchebag, but I'm going to host it, is almost saying you never know what really happens out of it. So it might be worth it.
I'm calling his bluff. He's not. No, fuck that. You're not giving everybody a fucking 20-minute sit down. Get the fuck out of here.
He has a 5:20 rule. I've watched him.
He's not giving everybody. And I like the idea of it, but I'm calling him out.
Yeah, you might.
Here's the deal. What it is, when somebody comes to me, there's obviously crazy variables, right? Hey, Bob, I want to be your fucking, it's just a day-by-day guy, blah, blah. I'll be like, okay, 15 days in a row, text me at 6:30 a.m. every single day at the same exact time, and I'll respond to you in 15 days if I see consistency and hard work. Done. From the bottom level. Now, if it comes to the top, like somebody that I have a deal with and whatnot, it's a different story. But, you can't, there's a lot of people pulling at you, and you have probably known, and everybody, there's a lot of people pulling at you in a lot of different directions. There's a lot of bullshit out there. I am just like, at the point where I trust where we're at right now. We have a lot of deals coming to us. We have a lot of good momentum right now, but to get 20 minutes for me to sit down with every single person is impossible. So what I'll say is that if somebody wants to get our attention and wants our audience, because it's not like, hey, I'm better than you or anything like that, but we have something you may want. Okay, we have an audience of fucking engaging ass motherfuckers, a loyal ass audience of 9 million motherfuckers. Now, with that comes a lot of fucking deals and a lot of offers. So, I'm always a big preacher of real consistency pounding, because even at the level where I'm at right now, I'm like unsending DMs on Instagram when I actually have to meet somebody that I've pounded so hard to get on my podcast. When I meet them in person, I'm just so aggressive, and if people are aggressive with me, I love it. Like, I love when somebody constantly, but they have to provide value. You have to provide value. You can't be like, hey, come on partying, let's party. Like, no, fuck out of here. I'm not fucking partying with you. I have enough friends. But if you have consistent pounding, compounding, and being aggressive, like, fuck it, who cares? If I say no, that it just, I always believe in just being super aggressive when you want something.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's true. We don't get enough of that in today's youth, of people being aggressive. It's kind of like, I'll pass through here and do my thing. So, listen, we've got a couple more minutes here. I want to wrap up by saying, where you're at now and the things that you've overcome. Do you have a mentor or coach that you lean on at all?
Many, so many, 100%. It just depends on what, area that I need them for. I have a lot of people that I can go to at any given time and ask them for something that I need or advice or whatnot, because what I've always been is I've been a good, I've been just a stand-up dude with a lot of, people. I just show them respect to everybody, no matter who you are. Like, it doesn't matter about if you're a fucking janitor, if you're a fucking CEO of a company. It's all the same motherfuckers. We're all out here grinding. We're all just out here grinding. So, I built some great relationships. I don't a direct mentor of mine, my father, but in very certain, settings. he can offer one good thing and say something that could really rattle me. So, I'm just, depends on the situation. But yeah, I have plenty of mentors. It's a very important thing to have.
And do you mentor or coach any people?
Every fucking second of every single day.
That's right.
Every single person, I'll talk to somebody, whether it be, in public or whatever. I'll always be like, all right, so this is what you're doing right now. Where do you want to take it? Like, I'm actually obsessive compulsive over finding out what people want to do and where they want to turn it into, because I'm always like learning on different people's, because, on how everybody, no matter where you're at, how they handle every single situation. It's like, no matter where you are in life, it's about having short-term goals. It's about having a few long-term goals and working every day at being the hardest working person in the room. I never like to be in a room with somebody who's working harder than me. That's it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, listen, how can the people find you? I know they can find you at Bob Menery on Instagram, but where can they go to find you, to follow you, to pay attention to the podcast?
The Full Send podcast is what we have going, and then I'm just Bob Menery and everything.
Bob Menery, everything.
Simple as that.
Well,
Full
Bob,
Send podcast is the one we really care about.
I appreciate your time. We're going to give prayers out to the soldiers in Afghanistan, those people out there. We do got to get our shit together. I appreciate you taking the time. I will say that I think Tom Brady was more of the reason than Bill Belichick of the winning. Would you agree?
If I can't say both, Brady, because Brady has actually proven that. And Brady went to another team and made it happen. So I'm just relying on facts and just, that's it, plain and simple. But I think the combination of both of them is deadly. That's why I'm actually like, I don't care what Tampa Bay is favored in that game when they play each other. I'm taking Belichick in that game. I'll tell you, whatever that is,
I like your guys' new quarterback you drafted.
Mac.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
Mac Jones, I think it's going to be split time this year. I think Newton and him are going to split time.
I am not a Newton fan, dude. I am not a Newton fan.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Cam was a great player back in the day. I know Cam really well. He's a fucking man. He's a hard-ass working dude. It's just the quarterback position is so tough right now, and I'm just hoping that, he has a bounce-back fucking year.
He just hasn't had it in a while. It seems like the drive isn't there. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe he's working hard. But in the game, you can't sense that, Thank you for your time, Bob. Thank you for joining us. Bam. And that concludes another episode here on True Underdog. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure you subscribe at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube channel. You can always visit TrueUnderdog.com, subscribe to all of them. Make sure you check out our newest episodes coming out on Mondays and Thursdays. True Underdog, baby. Bam!